Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with reTHINK Coaching.
Hello, team, and welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 2. So grateful that you're here today. My name is Tony Caliendo. I'm a master coach at reTHINK Coaching. And today I want to talk to you about something that has been coming up a bit and it just warrants a conversation around. And that is the topic of being stuck. And so why is it important to talk about that now? You know, we start to see trends and we start to see repeat questions and behaviors through the clients that we have the privilege of coaching across the country. And this has come up a bit lately. So it's perfect time to have the conversation. And when we talk about being stuck, you know, I think that can conjure up a bunch of different interpretations or meanings for a lot of people. So I want to spend a moment and for the sake of today's podcast, just say, okay, what does it really mean when I say, you know, are you stuck? And we're going to explore that and we're going to explore ways to get unstuck. Because here's what I know, regardless of how you interpret it, regardless of what you think it is, as a human race, we have all experienced being stuck. And what we know here at reTHINK Coaching is whether you're an entrepreneur, business leader, or someone who's just looking to have and striving to have a better life, it all boils down to there is a person running the operation, running the business, running the life. And if we do not address the person and just look at the business side of it, we're going to miss huge opportunity. So keeping that in mind, you know, I will tell you being stuck can mean several different things. So let's just take a peek at a few ways that we look at it when a client says, or when we see a client is experiencing being stuck. And that also includes us. So being stuck can be, I've set a goal and I am realizing I'm not going to hit the goal and I'm frustrated and I'm just stuck in a place of limbo where I'm not moving forward and I'm really at risk of moving backward. Stuck can also mean I've set a goal and year after year after year, I'm hitting the same ceiling over and over and over. While my goal is growing, my results and my success are not growing. And another way that we can say, hey, this could be an opportunity where you're stuck is that you're really even uncertain of what your goal might be. And you get overwhelmed in even the thought process of setting a goal or thinking about a goal. So that's how we look at things in terms of being stuck. And I think given, you know, our current economy, current things that are going on, I think that could be why we're experiencing some people feeling a little bit more stuck than usual because things have changed and we just maybe are not reacting or pivoting in the way that we could that would keep us fluid and keep us from feeling stuck. So I always share and I'm always transparent that this is something that we have all experienced, including myself. I mean, I can remember a time where I would set a goal and I kept just hitting the same level of income, same level of income, same level of income, even though year after year after year, my intention was to achieve much more, to achieve a higher level of income, a higher level of our business. And I found myself feeling stuck and I wasn't able to get there. And a lot of times what happens, not just to me, but a lot of times what happens to all of us when we get stuck, our mind does an amazing job of making us feel okay about that. And it really can just be, hey, you know, let's kind of look at what's going on and be okay with where we are. Or, gosh, you know, that goal was pretty big. You were in a different place when you set it. Lots of things have happened. It's okay if you don't hit the goal. Just do the same or better than you did last year. Or if you're working on yourself, I know I set a goal to lose weight, or I know I set a goal to be in a relationship or to be in a healthier place with my life. And I'm not worse than I was last year. I'm doing okay. So a lot of times from a neuroscience perspective, the brain has a great way of lulling you into and romancing you into or seducing you into being stuck and then pivoting away from your goal. And so today I want to have a really healthy, open conversation with you about different ways that we have personally dealt with being stuck and how we have moved our clients from being stuck into getting back into action. And it's really important because I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again. I don't know of any person, any business, any entrepreneur that hasn't at some point in their career or life experienced the feeling of being stuck. And so I'm just going to tell you it's natural, it's common. Now, the difference is what you choose to do with it. The difference is you acknowledging it and reassessing and moving forward because we can stay stuck. And this is my belief. I don't believe there's such a thing as staying stuck and just sitting and staying in neutral. I think we're either moving forward or we're moving backward because you see, being stuck is in a state of neutral, and you're going to go one of two ways at that point. You're either going to go forward or you're going to slide backwards. And so it's really important that you make a decision if you're experiencing that feeling of being stuck, of what you want to do to move forward. So we kind of have an understanding of what it means to be stuck, and we can identify what that might feel like to you. And I want you to think about this. For a lot of people, when they experience being stuck, it's frustration, it can be anger, it can be disappointment, it can be sadness because you're realizing you're not going to the destination that you thought you were going to get to go to. And part of what happens, and let's just be honest, team. I mean, my goodness, look at what's happened over the past couple of years. We went from everything just being fairly normal to entering into a pandemic where we didn't know anything really about it. And then we were in the pandemic, and certain people were heavily impacted, certain people were not. And then we're post-pandemic where the world has kind of changed, and we are experience a lot of change, and that change can create a feeling of being stuck if we haven't pivoted or adjusted to meet things where they are. And so it's not surprising to me that we're seeing clients experience this a little bit more, and people that we talk to across the country experience this just a little bit more. So if you're there, it's okay. It really is. It's okay. You get to make the choice today of what you're going to do differently to get either unstuck or just accept it and move backwards, which the fact that you're here today listening tells me you're probably not going to choose choice B. And if you are choosing choice B, it might be because you're just a little bit overwhelmed. And we're going to work on that today and get you out of that place. So I firmly believe because you're here today, we're all going to move forward and move through this. So one of the best things that we can do when we think about being stuck is we're at a place where we've maybe lost sight of what the big picture was, and we're focused just on a number or a goal. So it could be, a weight loss goal. It could be a income goal. It could be a sales revenue goal. It could be a unit goal, right? And we're just stuck on that one big number. And because we're not achieving the little milestones along the way, we feel frustrated and then just kind of give up and get stuck. When what we could be doing, and this is probably one of the best ways to break through, is to remember what achieving your goal will do for you. I like to call it your compelling future. And I think it's really important for all of us to be crystal clear on what that compelling future is. And let me tell you a little bit more about what I mean by that. When we set a goal, and let's just say we set an income goal, and we set an income goal to earn $500,000. And we just stop there. It's hard to stay motivated sometimes when life kicks you in the teeth to keep moving forward when you're just looking at it as an income goal. And also when you're looking at it a big, big income goal. And so what I would like to invite you to think about is to sit in this space and create your compelling future that when you achieve the goal, this is what you're going to be experiencing. Because it's not just about the income, right? It's about the impact. It's not just about the sales revenue goal. It's about the impact. It's not just about losing 60 pounds. It's about the impact. And so when we can sit with our compelling future, and the best way that I can explain to do this is typically we'll set a goal at the beginning of the year or set a 12-month goal, and to sit with it as if it's the 12th month, you're halfway through that 12th month and you've achieved your goal. And to just allow yourself to live as if you've achieved it. So for example, if we're setting goals and it's first a year or end of the previous year and you're setting your goal for the next 12 months, I really would invite you to sit with, hey, it's December 15th of the following year, of the year end of when I set my goal. And I'm sitting here in my house, or I'm sitting here in my office reflecting on what I accomplished this year. I achieved my goal of making $500,000. In fact, I exceeded it. And because of that, I've been able to do the following things. In July, I took my family on a phenomenal first-class trip to Africa, or we went to Disney. Whatever it is, just start building in what that compelling future will be when you hit the goal, and everything that you're able to do along the way. This is really important. And if you haven't done this before, it may feel a little awkward, but I will tell you it's power, because it's creating what your compelling future can be. And it's creating an emotion, it's creating an experience that you can tie into when things don't go so smoothly. So you've probably heard me say this before, and some of you might are going to hear it again. The mind cannot tell the difference between make-believe and real. And I want you to think about this. When you were a kid, and let's say you were 3, 4, 5 years old, and you were playing make-believe or make-pretend, and you were pretending that you were going to be a certain occupation, let's just say astronaut for the sake of it. You didn't get hung up on how much school do I need to go to? What do I need to do to become an astronaut? What will it cost? Do I have to have a certain geographic location? You just believed you were an astronaut. And you were able to enjoy it and to feel it and to experience it. I don't know when it happens. I don't know why it happens, but at some point we're told to stop playing make-believe. And that's probably one of the worst things that can happen to us as a human being, is to stop doing that. So I'm going to ask you to step back into that and create your compelling future, because that helps us create a desired state. Think about it. When you think about all that that can do for you, when I think about my compelling future, holy cow, makes me feel so good. I think about all of the people that I'm going to get to impact. I think about all the lives that I'm going to be able to be an integral part of and work with, and helping them to achieve their goal. I think about my financial wins as a business owner and what that income is going to do for myself and my family and my friends, and what it's going to allow me to do. And that really does help me create a state of clarity around what it's going to feel like and what it's going to be like when I accomplish that goal. And I've planted the seed in my unconscious mind, which helps make it even more possible. So that would be step number 1 to do when you're setting goal, because it's a tool that we'll use to help you get unstuck. The thing about a compelling future is, if you give it some time and you sit with it and you let your mind fantasize about what it's going to be, and then you write it down. And a lot of our clients do this in the form of a letter to themselves, and they write it down, and you keep that. You've now thought it, you've now written it, and I'm going to ask you to read it daily to help keep that compelling future alive. Because I promise you, all the best laid plans sometimes get interrupted by life, by the economy, by a circumstance outside of our control. And if you've got that to hold on to, it helps keep you moving forward. So that's the number 1 thing that you can do to help lessen your experience of being stuck. One of the other things that happens when we get stuck, and let's just be honest, a lot of times when you get stuck, it's really that you're just overwhelmed, right? For those of us that know where we want to be, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a little behind, or there's just so much to do. And we get in a place of overwhelm, and that can actually uh, create a lot of stress on the brain of picking, what do I do next? I'm overwhelmed with the things that I need to be doing, and therefore I just don't do anything. And I will tell you, one of the things that helps the most is, and you can make this a daily practice until you can get to a point where happens to you on an unconscious level, is when we're feeling overwhelmed and stuck. And those two emotions tend to go hand in hand. You just need to sit and have some thinking time and dump out everything that you think you need to do. Dump out everything that you think you need to do that day, that week, that month, that quarter, whatever it is, whatever you're feeling massively overwhelmed with, just dump it out onto a piece of paper. Everything that you think you need to do. Because here's what's fascinating. When I hold all of that information in my head, I've got to get gas for the car, pick up my dry cleaning, and call $1 million client. When I hold that all in my head and I'm holding it all up there with everything that I need to do, your brain gives everything the same level of priority. It's not until you get it out and address it that you can say, okay, gosh, I need to call the $1 million client first, and then I'll go get gas because I need gas to go to the dry cleaner. But it helps you put things in a correct order. So the first thing to do to help you get out of overwhelm and being stuck is to just dump everything out that you think you need to do onto a piece of paper. And don't just do it quickly. Don't give yourself 15 seconds. Really sit with this for a couple of minutes and dump everything out that's on your mind about what you need to be doing. Sit with that for a minute and then go back through the list. And this is what I love the most is we're going to go ahead and just dump all of that out. Now I'm going to make another pass through that list, and I'm going to delete the things that I don't really need to do. You're going to be surprised the stuff that is on that list that you think you needed to do that you 100% do not need to do. Cross them off, delete it, start clearing that list up. The next thing, now you've dwindled the list down a little, is to go through and say, what items have I thought that I need to do that I can either delay or delegate? Because again, we have all of this stuff floating around in our head about what we think we need to do, and they're clogging it up and they're clogging up your ability to really be strategic about it. So delay or delegate. And you might be saying, hey, listen, I'm a team of one. It's just me. Okay. Do you have a spouse? Do you have a friend? Do you have a VA? Do you have a neighborhood school kid who could do something for you? Who could you delegate some of the things that are on your list that you don't need to do? Because you see, we all hold on to stuff on our list that we think we really need to do. And if we're honest with ourselves, it's a lot of stuff that we don't have to do in order for it to get done. And then sometimes we'll have something on a list where you're like, gosh, I really don't need to do that for 2 weeks. And I can delay it until that time. So I've dumped everything out. I've deleted. I have delegated or delayed. And now guess what I'm left with? I'm left with my true must do list or future list of what, if I do this, I'm going to get unstuck and get moving. And here's the cool part. Now you can take that list and you can start to assign it based upon its order of priority or importance. So clearly, again, let's see, I can either go to the dry cleaner or I can call the $1 million client, right? And gosh, I'm going to call my friend who goes to the same dry cleaner, see if they're going, see if they can pick up my stuff for me. And honestly, I don't need anything at the dry cleaner until Friday anyway, so I can let it go. So you can have some fun with that. And I think the important thing when you do this is to really spend some thinking time every morning to clear your mind. It's one of the things that gets us stuck the most is our own little intelligent brain is a big contributor into our being overwhelmed and or getting stuck. So allow yourself some time in the mornings to do this. I'll be honest, I'll do it in the morning and sometimes in the afternoon I need to do it again because my brain's gone crazy thinking about all these great things that I should be doing, could be doing, want to do. And in the reality, I can delete, delay, or delegate. And it's really clogging you up from success. So that is a phenomenal way to get out of overwhelm and to have a path forward, which gets you unstuck, right? If you can identify only what you have to do, it's a great way to get moving forward because now that huge list has become a small list and I can manage that and move forward. The other thing is we tend to overestimate sometimes what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 5. And so going back to when you set your original goal, our 12-month goal should always be a stretch. It should. If it doesn't make you kind of sweat under the collar or get a little nervous or a little pit in your stomach, you're just not stretching yourself enough. However, it shouldn't be so overwhelming that you can't get it done. And I firmly believe, this is my belief, that a lot of times we pile so much on in 12 months because we live in a world of instant gratification. We want things now. I don't want this in 2 years. I don't want this in 5 years. I want it today. I want it now. And I'm a driver. So by God, I'm going to do what normally would take somebody 5 years. And I'm going to do it in a year. And I really do think a lot of that is stemming from where we are in our current life. I mean, think about it. We text people and we expect an immediate response. We DM people on social media where we think, "Ah, my God, they should respond right away." We seldom leave a voicemail anymore because it's not quick enough. And if I need an answer to something, I'm going to Google because Google's got the answer to everything. Or I'm going to ask Siri, I'm going to ask whoever to help me. And so a lot of why I believe we overestimate what we can do in a year is strictly because we live in a world of instant gratification. So sit with that goal and make sure that it's realistic and it's a stretch. The other thing I'm going to invite you to do, and we are not good at this, we just aren't because we have an overwhelming compulsion to look good and be right. Embrace your weaknesses. Okay. So when you're going through this list and you get to the delegate or delay, I'm going to share a personal thing with you. I am not the most tech savvy person in the world. I know that might be shocking. I have my iPhone, I've got my iPad, I got my iMac, I got my lights, I got all this great stuff. I got a great neon sign, but I'm not a tech person. I'm not. And that's not a negative affirmation. It's just accepting my weakness. It is a beautiful day in my world when I turn on my laptop and it makes that little noise. So I know it's coming on and my iPad turns on and my phone works and it's all charged. That's about really the extent of my tech skills. I have learned to embrace that weakness. I used to think I got to know how to do everything. So I got to learn this. I've got to turn my weaknesses into a strength. You need to be strong at every single thing you do. And where it came to light was when we were launching reTHINK Coaching, and I thought I could brilliantly build my own website. I mean, people do it all the time, right? So why couldn't I? And about 90 days in, I realized it didn't matter how many YouTube videos there were. It didn't matter how many times I asked Siri how to do it. I was stuck. And I had to embrace that is a weakness. And I leveraged that off to somebody else. And magically, within a couple of weeks, we had a really powerful website with amazing content because I'm great at content. So you have to embrace your weaknesses. So look at that list of things that you came up with that you're going to either delete, delay, or delegate, and be honest. Are any of those falling into that space of your weakness? And we're so dang determined to be strong at everything we do that we're going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I don't care if it kills me. I got to stay up till midnight or 1 o'clock. I'm going to get on the Google and figure this out or watch a YouTube video. So embrace your weaknesses and know that, hey, that needs to happen. It just doesn't need to happen with me, and let it go. That's probably one of the biggest gifts of getting unstuck, because many times on an unconscious level, your brain's saying, you don't know how to do that. You have no clue how to do that. We're just going to sit here because you don't know how to do it. And rather than looking stupid, just don't do it. Or consciously, you're so frustrated with it, you just don't want to do it. So embrace your weakness. That way you can let somebody else do that for you. Great way to get unstuck. Sometimes we're stuck because of an activity that's a weakness that we will not admit and own. I celebrate my weakness. I will tell anybody and everybody, I got a great IT person. I've got a great podcast producer. I've got somebody to handle all of that stuff that I'm not good at. And the second I let it go and embrace that weakness is when I had a breakthrough. So sometimes being stuck is because of our stubbornness to want to deny our weakness and turn it into a strength. Typically doesn't happen. Focus on your strengths. The other thing I will tell you that sometimes when we're stuck can happen, right? We've lost our sense of belief that it's possible and that it's possible for me. And that can happen because life has kicked you in the teeth, or a pivot, or an economic change, or your avatar for your client has changed and you're holding on to old ways and you start to think, this just isn't possible for me anymore. I don't think I can do it. And you start to hear things maybe coming out of your mouth or your thoughts of, I haven't had a bad year. I mean, it's okay. It's better than what a lot of people have done. And I'm doing about the same as I did last year. As long as I'm not doing any worse, it's okay. And we start to give up on the belief that it's possible. Or, I set a goal to lose 60 pounds this year. I'll probably lose 30. And I mean, that's 30 more than I would have lost if I wouldn't have done this. So I'm really doing okay. We start to give up on the belief that it's possible because we are stuck. And so I'm going to tie this back to your compelling future. When you're crystal clear on what your future can look like when you achieve your goal, and you're crystal clear on the impact, it helps re-engage your belief at a really high level. And a lot of when we lose our belief, it's because we've adopted limiting beliefs. Well, the economy was different this year than last year. When I set the goal, it wasn't what it is now. So I just need to change the goal. That's a limiting belief. I thought I was going to be able to hire a really great trainer to help me lose weight. I've got an okay trainer. I'm moving slowly, but I'm losing weight. It's okay. Or it's my age, it's my metabolism. I just can't lose weight. And maybe this is the skinniest I'll ever be. And we start to have some limiting beliefs. I just can't do it. It's not for me. I'm not that person. I need to be grateful for what I have. It's better than where I was. At least I'm doing the same as I was doing last year. Any of this sound familiar? Because I know for me, it's familiar. I've done this. I've gotten stuck. And then I let go of the belief that it's possible. And I start selling myself unlimiting beliefs. It's not the year for me. So how do you re-engage that belief? It is really through your compelling future and retraining your thoughts and beliefs, right? I'm not going to hit goal if I settle in my brain. If I want to re-engage my belief, I need to sit with, it is possible, and it's possible for me. I have the skills to do this. I'm recalculating and re-strategizing, and I will achieve my goal. I am smart. I can figure this out, and I can ask for help in the areas that I'm weak. Changing and re-engaging in the belief that it's possible. And then the other thing I want you to do in this moment where you're working on your belief to think that it's possible, I want you to look at your strategy that you wrote and realize that it's not only possible, it's probable. Because you see, anything is possible, right? And we can get re-excited and re-engage our belief on it. But if we take it from possible to probable, simply by looking at the strategy we have in place, the new thoughts that we're having, the fact that we've narrowed down our to-do list, the fact that we've accepted our weakness and we've delegated it, off, now things are very probable for me and have moved from possible to probable. That is a phenomenal way to get unstuck. It's a great way for you to get unstuck. So take a peek at your beliefs and make sure that you haven't lost faith or lost belief that it's possible for you, and it's probable that you're going to do it. Another great way to get out of being stuck. The last thing I'm going to say is pay attention to your actions. What is the saying? Put your money where your mouth is. There's a lot of different sayings, and here's what I know. If your video does not support your audio, your actions are going to be impacted. I always say this with a client: I can tell who you are by what you do, not what you tell me you're going to do. Right? Because a lot of times we say, I'm going to do this, right? Our audio is just going strong. It's, oh, here we go. And then our video is, I didn't do any of that this week. And, because of that, my video is not in alignment with my audio. I'm kind of stuck. And that happens over and over and over, where your video and your audio are out of alignment. So here's what I know. Winning produces results. Losing produces results. My video, right? I'm moving forward. I'm doing something. The person who has the most results is typically the person who's the most successful. So ask yourself, am I just giving great lip service, or am I actually taking action? Because if at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the quarter, you do not have enough results to look at, you're not doing enough. And if you haven't lost, you're not pushing yourself. Your goal isn't big enough, or you're not performing. So pay attention to your audio and your video. Results are the most important thing. And I know. You don't see anybody on Facebook celebrating their failures. You don't. I wish we did. Because the person who celebrates their failures is going to learn from it and be able to move forward. The person who celebrates their wins is going to learn from those and be able to do it again, or more of it. But when you leave off the fail, when you leave off the lose, and you choose not to take action, and your video and your audio are out of alignment, that's when you're at risk for getting stuck. That's when you're at risk for plateauing. That's when you're at risk for only achieving what you maybe have achieved in the previous years, because you're not taking the risk. You're not getting into action. So think about this. I celebrate every single time I fail, because it's a result. And I celebrate every single time I win. And I look at the win and say, okay, how can I do it again? Can I do it bigger? And then I go to the losses. What happened that I didn't win? Can I change it? Do I just need to tweak a few things? Do I need to go get help? What do I need to do? And if I can turn my wins into bigger wins, holy cow, that's when I get unstuck. So look at your actions versus what you say you're going to do. And if you're not getting results, it's because your video and your audio are out of alignment. And here's what I know is true. It can be happening on an unconscious level. I know I'm supposed to do X activity. I know that. And I even said I was going to do it. But now the rubber has met the road and I need to actually do it. And your little brain is going to want to protect you and say, Tony, don't do it, because you might fail and look stupid. But if you don't do it, nobody will know that you're supposed to. Nobody will know that you maybe failed. So just play it safe and don't do anything. This is typically what happens when our video and audio are out of alignment, is because your brain's trying to protect you from not winning. And I get why it does it, and I understand it. And we have to accept it and move into it and say, I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to lose, and I'm going to win. My audio and my video are in alignment. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. So actions are the best evidence of your beliefs. So it goes back to if you've fallen out of belief, chances are you've fallen out of taking action, which chances are you're in a protect mode, and chances are you're stuck and you think you're staying put, but you're really moving backwards. So really, really pay attention to what you're doing and what you're saying. It's really a choice, team. It really is. I will just share from personal experience. You can't get through this life as an entrepreneur, business owner, or a human being and not get stuck. You just can't. And here's what's really important. If I get stuck or I decide to not take action for fear of failure, or I lose my belief, a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, a month goes by, a quarter goes by, half a year goes by, and then a year goes by, and gradually, and then suddenly, I didn't hit my goal. Gradually and suddenly, I'm stuck. It's a powerful phenomenon. I mean, think about it. I always use this example as a personal example. I walked by the candy jar and I grabbed a hot tamale, which happens to be my favorite candy, and I take one or two every day, right? I'm fine. And then suddenly my jeans are tight. It happened gradually and then suddenly. I mean, if you think about one or two hot tamales, it's not a big deal. But one or two hot tamales every day for a time period are going to create a suddenly where my clothes don't fit well or I don't feel good. It's the same thing when we get out of alignment with our beliefs. It's the same thing when we get out of alignment with our audio and video. It is the same thing when we get overwhelmed and stuck and do not dump out our to-do list and figure out our way forward. Gradually and then suddenly, we're going to be off goal. Gradually and suddenly, I'm going to be stuck. It's just how it works. So a couple things I'm going to ask you to do. If you haven't already, take some time and sit with your compelling future. It's truly the coolest thing in the world to do. A couple of reasons. It helps re-energize. If today we're halfway through the year and we're a little off of goal and we're feeling stuck, living into that compelling future can re-energize you and remind you why you're doing all of this and what the impact is going to be. So step into that. Step into it. Step into your compelling future. I love writing myself a future letter and reading it to myself every day, every day, every day, every day, multiple times a day. And at the end of the year, looking how much of it came true, because it helps keep me from getting stuck. It helps keep me motivated. So I would encourage you to spend some time getting crystal clear on your compelling future, not just the goal, but what the impact of that goal is going to be on yourself, your friends, your family, your business, your life, whatever it is, sit with it. The other thing I'm going to ask you to do, it's a really great practice, and my coach has beat this into my head, and I'm practicing it, and it's making a huge difference, is to schedule an hour of thinking time a day. And you may have to start off with 15 minutes, and that's okay. But really, I honor that every day, just some thinking time, because it helps pop up the stuff that may get me stuck, or what might get me frustrated, or what might get me, hey, gradually, I'm not going to do that. Suddenly, I'm not going to hit goal. So I'm going to invite you to do your compelling future, your future story, and I'm going to invite you to incorporate thinking time into your schedule every single day, every single day, because being stuck is usually overwhelmed. Being stuck is usually frustrated. Being stuck is having too much to do and not knowing what to do first. Being stuck is I lost my way and I lost my belief that it's possible and I lost my way that it's probable. So I'm just going to invite you to spend some time every day with thinking time. I will tell you, at first it was weird. It was kind of like for me when I journaled and I first started journaling, I'd look at that blank piece of paper and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to write. And then I started practicing the habit of journaling, and now my journaling is strong. It's the same thing with thinking time. At first, I was like, I don't want to spend that much time thinking about stuff. I'm busy. And I would resist and I'd maybe do 15 minutes. I do an hour of thinking time every day, and it's the best gift I can give to myself. I'm clear, I'm focused, I'm identifying failures, I'm identifying opportunities, and I'm able to keep moving forward because I don't get stuck as often because I'm spending that time strategizing with myself. So I'm going to ask you to do, it's really a pretty powerful thing. Be honest with yourself in your thinking time. Be honest with yourself with where you are right now. If you're stuck, it's okay. It really is. It's okay. What's not okay is to stay there. What's not okay is for you to give up on what you want in life. I mean, we all deserve whatever that is. If it's to be rich, if it's to make an impact on your family and friends, if it's to be the healthiest version of yourself, whatever it is, you deserve it. So make a choice. I'm either going to allow myself to be stuck and frustrated and wait for the year to end and then rewrite a goal and get kind of excited, woo, and then go and do the same thing over again and get stuck at some point and not hit my goal again. Or I'm going to work on it through some strategy thinking time and using the tools we talked about. We're always here for you. I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor, make a comment below, and it helps people understand who we are and what we're about. Also, if you've got a question, post it. We will answer your questions. I promise you, we'll get to you. You can reach out to us directly. You can post here. You've got us on Facebook. You can DM me. I will answer your questions. One of us, myself, or one of our talented coaches will get back to you. But I would appreciate it if you would like the podcast and help us be able to reach more people. We appreciate you being here. I truly do. I cannot tell you thank you enough for investing your time with us. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Go make it a great week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.